Wow. Hello, I got a good word for you today, and it is voice. I want to say, don't worry, I won't be preaching today. I'll be speeching like a sneechin', because I'm going to save all my preaching if I do videos for Sundays. Because that's what I used to do on Sundays, so it just seems like a habitual thing. Anyway, the word for today is voice. And the thought for today is the best things in life are free. Reported by our baby Coco Chanel said that. So I found a very good article on that. I have a question though. If anybody knows anything about Albert Island, that would be interesting to me because I woke up this morning and I thought, Albert Island! So apparently it's a new development over in London, so that was very interesting. If you know something about Albert Island, maybe you live there, I don't know. Maybe you know something about it. It's interesting. Okay, voices. Voice, your voice, the sound that's coming out of your mouth. Now, I want to start with reading a lot to you out of this article. Get it up here. Well, let's start with this. Does anybody know what the First Amendment to the United States Constitution is? It has to do with using your voice. Your voice is really synonymous with your liberty. And really one of the worst things that can happen to you is losing your voice. If you lost it naturally, you'd have to write down your communications and your feelings, and it'd be very hard to express yourself if you can only use the written form of communication, although that is another form of voice, but it's way down here on the list, right here, after usually it has to do with sounds and frequencies that you're hearing. That's why I'm giving you my voice, even though you could read this article or you could read the First Amendment, it will help you to hear what it says. I feel like I'm teaching preschool or something. The First Amendment of the United States Constitution prevents the government from making laws which regulate an establishment of religion, or they would prohibit the free exercise of religion, or abridge the freedom of speech, the freedom of the press, the freedom of assembly, or the right to petition the government for redress grievances. It was adopted on December 15, 1971 as one of the 10 amendments of the Constitution that constitute the Bill of Rights. It's kind of like one of the 10 commandments is one of the 10 commandments. So I just wonder why our founding fathers thought it was so necessary to make the First Amendment to be freedom of religion, which is very well associated and synonymous with freedom of speech, which means they cannot take away your voice. If you live in the United States of America, supposedly do not censor me. Okay, well that's good on voice. Aren't you glad you live in America where you could say whatever you want to say whenever you want to say it within reason, right? Because there really isn't, absolute freedom of speech, because if you say certain things to certain individuals in certain positions of authority, you might just land up in the Crossbar Motel. However, it's way better than many other countries where you could they could just throw you in jail for anything. I've had an experience like that in Tijuana once with my mom, but that's another story. Maybe someday. But the bottom line is, they just threw us in jail and they didn't give a hoot about our voice or anything they said. They just said, go to jail, and when it was time to get out, they said, give us $50 each and you can go free. So it's a great benefit to living in the United States of America. It's also a great benefit these days that we have the internet, the World Wide Web, so we have a global voice. It's like a time never before in history when you could talk to somebody on the other side of the world. You could literally look through this window of your phone and be face chatting. I found an online tutor last night in the Philippines, and I just looked through my phone and I talked to her and it's like, hey, what's up? And it's a 15-hour time difference, and I'm looking through this window of the world to the other side of the world. I mean, that's a miraculous thing. 100 years ago, they would have said that was a complete miracle. And so she's like, can you give me a job? And I'm like, I don't know. How about you become my tutor? Because I want to learn other languages, because English is not a good language. I want to learn symbols and such like that. And she said, well, I'm an online marketer. You know, I can do Adobe and all that. And I said, well, really, I don't have any outlet for that right now. But what I am doing is learning how to speak, and I would like to travel to different places in the world, and maybe the Philippines would be a good place to go to. So it would be good if you're going to another place in the world that you could learn another language, and it also helps entertain my mind, because apparently I talk too fast. My mind runs too fast. Stop. So, I can control it though. So, voice. Now, I want to read you this article. It was posted in the New York Times, and it comes from Turning Point Magazine, from an article that was posted December 10th, 2015. Coco Chanel is reputed to have said, "The best things in life are free. The second best things are very, very expensive." So these guys, Richard Hell, Yanis Yakarvaris, Carl Lagerfeld, Michael Pravara, Yosa Nidor, and Yao-chan tell us about their favorite things and contemplate why most of us are so rarely satisfied with sunshine, love, and the stars. I thought that rhymed. Why are we so rarely satisfied with sunshine, love, and the stars above? There you go, you got the rhyme. That's a good question. Why am I talking about the best things in life are free, and now I'm talking about voice? Because your voice is the absolute liberty, right, that you have as a human being. Your voice is like no other voice on the earth. Dogs have voices, or and cats and pigs and all that stuff, but they do not have a form of communication that they can use. Well, they have a form of communication, but they don't have a language. There's written languages. Now, I'll just skip to the end here so you can understand how important this is. In Genesis chapter 11, it says, basically, you can look it up. It says, I put that quote in here somewhere. Thought I got everything ready. Okay, give me a minute here. Let me get it for you. This is really important because of what it says in Genesis chapter 11. And I will say Genesis 11, 1 through 9, Babel, beware. Why beware of Babel? Why should we beware of babbling? Because the whole world was babbling different languages up until now. Genesis 11, and this isn't preaching, this has to do with, I pretty much include the scripture with everything, but it's more about your voice and how you live your life. So it all goes together. Now the whole earth had one language and one speech. And it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said to one another, "Come, let us make bricks and bake them thoroughly." And they had brick for stone, and they had asphalt for mortar. And they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city, and a tower whose top is in the heavens, and let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered abroad over the whole face of the earth." So in other words, all they had is bricks and mortar for asphalt, and they were still going to build a tower to heaven because they wanted to make a name for themselves, because they wanted to exalt themselves, so to speak. But, verse 5, "The Lord came down to see the tower which the sons of men had built, and the Lord said, Indeed, the people are one, and they have one language. And this is what they have begun to do. Now nothing that they propose to do will be withheld from them. Come, let us go down there and confuse their language, that they may not understand one another's speech." So the Lord scattered them abroad from there over the face of the earth, and they ceased building the city. Therefore its name is called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of all the earth, and from there the Lord scattered them abroad all over the face of the earth. Whoa, schmo. So what's that mean? Why is it Babel beware? Because right now we've come back to the first point in history, probably since that point in time, because of Google Translate, that we have the ability to have one voice and one language on the earth. And we're at a point in humanity where it's babblers beware, because even back then he said, the Lord, and even if you don't believe in the Lord, it's still a universal principle, and you can see how science has advanced more in technology in the last 100 years, or 120 years now, than all the history of scientific technology that came before that. And I think, in my opinion, the reason is because of better and better communication. We got the telegraph, we had the Pony Express, and then we had the telegraph, and then we had the telephone, and now we have look through the window of the world through the miraculous phone. So, is it not worldwide communication? Can you not just get on your phone and go to any nation and get into Google Translate and say babble, 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 and babble, 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 and all your babble is translated into one language, one voice? Wow. So, what's the meaning of all that? I don't know. You have to discern for yourself. The meaning is it's scary, because right now we have a lot more than bricks and asphalt as far as technology. And if mankind decides to build a tower to heaven to make a name for themselves, or if science continues to try to advance in making weapons of mass destruction to destroy themselves, we are very likely to be able to succeed and annihilate the human race from the planet, as well as maybe just blow up the whole planet altogether! Woohoo! So, beware, I'm saying. It's time for us as a human race to come to the point where we stop focusing on the wrong things, particularly building a name for ourselves or exalting ourselves or materialism, and that will bring me back to the best things in life are free. I might not even get to this today. I try not to make these videos too long, but I'm doing this as a vocation now. Like, this is the most important thing I felt like I should do today. I could be out building a house, but I'm here giving you the word, because that's what I am, epos vocare, called to do. So let's get back to this, because it's really good. So, she said the best things in life are free, and the second best things in life are very, very expensive. So I highlighted some of the things that the person that wrote the article said. The ideological nature placed on merchandise suggests that the more of it we acquire, the happier we will be. But anyone who has experienced the limited, short-lived gratification of purchasing a coveted item knows that it is simply not the case. In fact, the more things we have, the less we are able to feel the instant satisfaction. Aw, shucks. The more you get, the less happy with what you are. Materialism does not work. Okay, let's go on to see what some other people said about this. This is from a guy named Adrak Pelak, what I just quoted, and he was an Australian model and the first she was an Australian model and the first openly transgender woman to become the face of the makeup brand. Okay, whatever. She has some amazing things to say. Listen about what Coco Chanel said. Don't worry, I'm not just going to use that. The person that wrote the article, you can find it. The reference is, I don't know. You'll just look at New York Times articles, the best things in life are free. You'll find it if you want to read the whole article. Also, only when the best things in life are fulfilled can we focus on the second best. The products, knowledge, and experience that provide ease, beauty, creativity. Sadly, such things are very expensive and enjoyed only by a minority, which generally expects the second best things to make up for the lack of the first. In other words, there's nothing you can do to make yourself happy. If you're trying to make yourself happy with getting stuff, you ain't ever going to get enough stuff to get happy, and that's basically what's his name? Solomon said in the book Ecclesiastes, who happened to be the richest man on the face of the earth at this time, and he said it's all vanity. You know, he said, eat and drink and enjoy the good of your labor in this life. This is the good that comes from God. Okay. Pause, breathe. I'm reminding myself, and I'm also giving you things to help you. Breathing. I say that almost every day. Richard Hell says, my initial reaction to this question is nothing is free. Even the sun causes cancer. Water is getting more expensive. Everybody tells you that marriage is work. I feel lucky that my needs are few. It is really good to feel loved and to loved, and that doesn't cost anything. The universal truth, love. The other thing I like is art, meaning books and movies and paintings and museums and music, and all of that is not too expensive either. I have prejudice against expensive things. Usually they're about status or snobbery. That's why I think Coco Chanel is actually talking about, but she denied it. First-rate examples of most night things can be found very cheaply if you trust your own sensibility. Not to be too hard on Coco, she was a good businesswoman who priced the fruits of her talents dearly. It was in her interest to promote the costly. Also, I've learned that once you get what you want, you will just want either a greater amount of it or you will want something else. The best thing to have is a vocation. Make your vocation... Wait, what's that saying? Make your passion your vocation and your life will be like a vacation? Or something like that. The best thing to have in life is a vocation or a calling. Some people are called to speak. Some people are called to work in construction. Some people are called to do the newspaper industry. Some people are called to be musicians. But everybody has a calling. And if you want to be fulfilled in life, you have to fulfill your calling in order to be fulfilled in life. Because the best things in life are free. The best thing to have is a vocation. To like doing something rather than having something. Because wanting more is just about wanting to be able to do better and actually pays off. What does that say? That was good. Wanting more, no. The best thing in life to have is a vocation. To like doing something rather than having something. Your life is about being a human doing and a human being, not a human having things. You have everything you need on the inside of you, the life and the love and the, glory and all that. So that guy, Richard Hell, or maybe he said Hale, he's an American singer-songwriter, and his new book, Massive Pissed Love, nonfiction, is for sale. Yanis Vakafaras. Oh my gosh. I thought I bolded the things I want to read. Oh, it's all good. I'll just read it. This is an amazing article. You could go read it, but I'm telling you, it's going to hear you to hear. It's going to help you to hear me say it to you. It's going to give you some encouragement. Very best thing in life, happiness, can only be a byproduct of something that's authentically good. Example, a kind deed, a good night's sleep, love. And this is absent from any market. The second best thing to which we turn out of impatience or despair are pricely, because no price can approximate the value of the best things. Trying to replace authentic happiness with some purchase object or service is the equivalent to substituting a sleeping pill-induced stupor for a good night's rest. In the 19th century, some American journalists published this definition. Those American journalists are so smart. Happiness is like a butterfly, which when pursued seems always just beyond your grasp. But if you'll just sit down quietly, may light upon you. Ceasing this materialistic pursuit cost nothing at all. And that's a very funny story, because I went camping with Josh and Tyler and Justine, and Josh was sitting in his chair, and I was sitting in the chair over here camping, and all of a sudden, this little butterfly just came and landed on his arm. It was orange. We have video. I'm telling this true story. And it sat on his arm and licked the salt, and it hung out there, and it chilled for like half an hour. Well, the point is, Josh wasn't trying to go to the forest so he could get a big truck and a big house. He was just enjoying life, and the happiness came upon him like a butterfly, just like it said. Whoever just said that? That guy. Okay. I gotta get to the butterfly. So listen to what those American journalists said. A definition of happiness is: in the pursuit of happiness is condemned to be self-defeating. What should our guide be? The optimist in me believes there is something innate in humans that, Like the mechanism that prompts sunflowers to follow the sun across the sky can help unleash our creative side. For the hell of it, with happiness, an unintended byproduct, the butterfly that sits softly on your shoulder. In other words, if you focus on, like light, life, and love, and just enjoying what you have and being fully gratified, the happiness will just come and rest upon you like a butterfly. So he goes on. Alas, the sirens. You know what sirens are? They're those wicked kind of mermaids in the sea that call you with their voices, and it seems really beautiful, and you get out there and then they turn into evil creatures and they eat your head off. That's what sirens are. The sirens of daily toil can distract us and turn us into consumers. Oh my God. Who ever thought that the sirens were turning us into consumers so they could eat our heads off and eat our guts out and take our pieces of peace away from the insides of us? The sirens of daily toil can distract us and turn us into consumers who like what they buy what they think they like, and end up bored and dissatisfied, permanently unable to specify the nature of their discontent, and living confirmation of Mark Twain's point about limitless multiplication of unnecessary necessities. On the other hand, Dorothy Parker said we ought to take care of the luxuries, and the necessities will take care of themselves. Of course, necessities take care of themselves only for the people that belong to the tiny segment of society where that privilege reproduces itself. Obviously, that's an easy thing to say if you're in the top 1% of the world's wealthy. You're somewhere up there in the top tier. But if you're in normal tier, like most of the rest of the people in the world, the necessities do not take care of themselves. You have to go out there and work your butt off to get your necessities like food, clothing, shelter, and housing to take care of yourself. The good news is when you learn to be happy, back to yesterday's message about anti-materialism and all that, when you learn to be happy and trust in the source of the Almighty to be your provider, then your necessities aren't even in your hands, but in the hands of your Almighty. Okay, that's a different subject. A civilized society provides everyone with the conditions that will give them the freedom vigorously and creatively to pursue their own goals. But for this to happen, each must have liberty from fear, hunger, and exploitation, as well as, according to Virginia Woolf, a room for one's own. What does that mean? To have the freedom vigorously and creatively to pursue your own goals. It means you have your own voice. It means you have the First Amendment right. It means you have the right to freedom of religion and freedom of speech and freedom to express yourselves. It means you cannot censor me within the limitations of what I say will fall within the commandment of love. In other words, if I'm going to be a loving person that's going to contribute to society, then I can express my voice in any way I wish, as long as it's not in hateful condemnation or complaining or condensation and all those other nasty things that people get into. You can use your freedom of speech to be a dick if you want to, but you're not going to enjoy your life because that's not what your voice was made for. So, Yanis Varoufakis is a politician, an academic economist, and Greece's former finance minister. That's interesting because his voice in Greek is epos, voik, voker, to call. It leads to epic. Epic voices lead to epic things, like the Tower of Babel. Hopefully we'll direct humanity the right way and not direct ourselves back into destruction again. We don't need another war. War is ignorant and stupid. Every species on the planet doesn't try to kill their own species to get more land. There's not a bunch of coyotes out there having a war with the other coyotes because they want that other field that the other coyotes is in. How stupid can you get? People fighting over land is the most ignorant concept ever created by man. You don't own the land. How can you own the earth when you are a part of the earth, when you live on the earth? If it wasn't for the earth, you wouldn't even be alive. That's your Mother Nature, man. If it wasn't for your Mother Nature, man, you wouldn't even be here, man. And you're trying to own your mother? You go tell your mother you own her sometimes, you get a slap right upside the head. You tell your mama you own her and you're using the earth like you own it, raping it. No! That's another subject. Oh, that has to do with Albert Island. They're making a sustainable whole new community over Albert Island. Maybe that's why that's in there. Whew. Wow. Karl Lagerfeld. Okay, give me a minute. you're tired of this video, just pause it and come back now or never. Turn it off. That's the liberty I give you. I'm going to say whatever I want to say, however I want to say it, and if you don't like it, you have the liberty to not listen. Freedom, freedom, freedom. Chanel was right. The second best things in life are very expensive because people will often pay more for what they do not need than for what they need. That's paradoxical and ignorant. And what's the other word? Ironic. People will often pay more for what they do not need than for what they do. It's a very good thing when a hotel is able to attract clients who are ready to pay $80,000 a night for a suite because that provides a living for so many. The workers who built the suite, the architects who designed the hotel, the artisans who made the furniture, the staff who worked there. There is also a great pride in such work. That suite is a work of art in everyday use and stocked with custom-made, beautiful furniture. Karl Lagerfeld is the creative director of Chanel, Fendi, and his eponymous label. So that's the industry that I'm trying to get into in my construction business, is providing amazing houses that feel like love, that are totally custom built for somebody that has maybe billions of dollars because they can afford to build that, and I can give them something that's art, because art is the expression of the H-E-A-R-T. Look, there's hear the voice. There's ear, E-A-R. There's art, he-art, he-art. Art is the expression of the heart. That's what rich people need. They don't need 87 more houses. What they need is some person that's so creative. They might be sitting in a shack up on the side of a hill and doing their pottery and putting the life and the love and their soul into the creation. Or they might be making a painting. Or they might be a carpenter like me, and I'm making this amazing spiral staircase because I've imagined it in my mind, and I could put something in their house that will make them feel alive, because that's what art is, and that's what music is. When you use your voice and you put your life into your music and you write a song like everything is beautiful, even you and me, that it portrays the life and the love and the nature and the creative source and the spark of the world. And that's what we need in the world, is we need creativity. We don't need materialism. We need spiritualism. We need to get back to being a humanity that was created in the nature of the Creator. And the primary thing we should be doing on this earth with our lives and with our gifts and with our voices and with our hands and with our talents is creating new, amazing things to bless humanity with, and not weapons of war and mass destruction to kill ourselves with. Basically, it's like self-assisted suicide for the earth. Wow. Why are you yelling? I ain't yelling, I'm speeching. Speeching like a sneeching on the beaching with the star upon there. Let's see what Michael Perkava has to say. I'm getting hot. I've never been much of a materialist. I lived in the small Soviet apartment of my youth long after I could afford not to. If you were to visit my home in Moscow now, you would see that basically it resembles a nice wholesale with a nondescript resident. There's no great artwork, no Fabergé eggs in sight, only me, usually lounging in my Brooklyn Nets tracksuit, cost $95. The way I see it is the second best things are very expensive things, are only worthwhile if they serve the utilitarian people. Selling makes me seasick, so I have a yacht, but only enjoy it because it lets me jet ski. Getting better at the sport is a personal goal that I work hard at. He has a yacht, but he gets seasick. Is that what he says? So he uses his jet ski. The best thing about the yacht is free. The satisfaction of having risen to a new challenge. Oh, that's why he likes the yacht. Not because he has a big fat yacht, because he can say, hey dude, my yacht's bigger than your yacht. That goes back to, the male pissing contest thing. Stupid, S-T-U-P-I-D, ignorant, immature, male, patriarchal mentality. That's what that kind of stuff is. My yacht's bigger than your yacht. My truck's bigger than your yacht. My house bigger than your yacht. My bicep's bigger than your bicep. Shut up. Why don't you grow up? Some people are not going to like a lot of the stuff I say, but other people are, so whatever. It's not my problem if people like me or not. The best thing about the yacht is free. The satisfaction of having risen to a new challenge and mastered a new move, which is difficult if you're 6'8". This is something especially that no one can do for me. I couldn't care less about the yacht, but I value my personal growth and I'm happy to invest in it along with the occasional fine wine. So this guy is a Russian billionaire and former presidential candidate and owns Brooklyn Nets basketball team. He might know something about... See, it's good to listen to rich people that know how to be happy. Don't listen to stupid rich people that don't know how to be happy. They're just trying to get more riches to make themselves happy. And I talked about that yesterday if you want to learn all about that. But that's not the subject for today, although it kind of is, because if the best things in life are true, then it has to be motivated by what I call spiritualism instead of materialism. In other words, you're being a person, you're focused on your being, not on your having. That billionaire's smart. That's another stupid billionaire, let's use Solomon, for example. He tried everything. He tested women and mirth, and he had all kinds of wives and all kinds of concubines. And imagine the hell of that. One wife is hard enough to deal with. Anybody knows that, and that's just a joke. Don't take it personally, but it's also true sometimes. But Solomon is supposed to be the wisest man on the earth, and he has 30 wives and 70 concubines or something like that. What the hell were you thinking, dude? And he builds all these mansions and all this stuff, and then he gets through all of it, and he comes to the conclusion, he's like, it's all vanity, it's all worthless, it doesn't mean shit, basically, is what he says in Ecclesiastes. He said it's good for a man to be able to eat and drink and enjoy the good of his labor, and this is the gift of God. Living. Just good, fun, clean living. It doesn't matter if you work in the oil field, you're a carpenter, or you work on a mansion, or you're a businessman or a businessman. It doesn't matter what your vocation is, as long as you enjoy your vocation. Because if you got to do something to make a living, you might as well enjoy it. Duh! You got to spend 40 hours a week working, right? Maybe 60 now. Or maybe you got to have a job and a half, or maybe you live in a household because the economy is so screwed up because we haven't had any good ideas, obviously, for the last 100 years or something, or the economy wouldn't be so damn screwed up. That's pretty obvious. But now, if you want to have a family, you can't just go work a job and have your wife stay at home and raise the kids. You got to have a job. Your wife has got to have a job. You got to have a job and a half. You got to have 3 jobs. We got to do something about this, people. Come on. We're not that stupid. We're coming out. Our language isn't that confused anymore. We can communicate worldwide. We can solve these worldwide economy problems. Oh, you're just you're just a delusional optimist. Well, pretty much everybody that had any kind of good idea that changed the face of humanity was a delusional optimist. Like, you can't fly. Those stupid ass Wright brothers. If God would have wanted man to fly, he would have given them wings, you stupid delusional optimist. What about Nikola Tesla, who just happened to say, if you wish to understand the universe, also the U inverse, think about energy, frequency, and vibration, which is also your voice. Your voice is going to affect your universe, the verses that are going on the inside of you. The universe is also relative to music. It's U inverse. Oh, U inverse, U inverse, universe, So you keep a song in your head, you keep your mind in gratification, you keep your frequency high, you keep yourself happy because you're high on life, baby. Come back to earth, please. Yasana Nan Dior says, I was so fortunate to have been given a voice that appeals to people. To be able to flourish and find my fans when so many people are unable to pursue their dream jobs was a divine blessing. That's what I'm looking for right now. I'm trying to use my voice to be divine blessing. Hopefully start to appeal to some people. I'm sure it's grating on some people's nerves. Such a gift can be developed further, but it can't be repaid or bought. Isn't that evidence that the best things in life are free? One of the best things in my life is when I see an expression of excited happiness on the face of the audience member of one of my concerts. I may not know his name, but we share a true communion. Or my 3-year-old son smile when he sees me and he runs to me and jumps to hug or tender me, or when a stranger on the street says hello with their voice, which gives us both a feeling of happiness and rest for the day. In other words, that's living in the 3-dimensional realm. We're so used to living in the 2-dimensional realm. It's one thing for me to say hello to you on Facebook through your phone, but it's another thing for me to say you hello with my voice over this video. But it's even better if I'm on the street and I say, hey, what's up, man? Because that makes you feel good. And one of the worst things that can ever happen to you, which is why we have the First Amendment, is to lose your voice. I lost my voice recently. I'll go into this very briefly and vaguely. I lost my voice very recently in my relationship because somebody I was in a relationship told me they would not allow me to speak to them. They would only allow me to talk to them through texting and email, which led to a huge disaster. Because if you try to communicate through texting and email about your failings, you're probably going to fail miserably. And that's exactly what happened to me. So I'd recommend that you never, ever, ever try to communicate your feelings through texting and email. Texting and email and that written form of communication is for saying things like, I will meet you at the park, or I will see you at 5 p.m. It's not for communicating, oh, I love you, I need you, please forgive me, and all that, okay? That's not the subject. Maybe later, when we get through our traumatic experiences. Let's see. If love is a gift of self, that excited look, that sincere smile, that greeting proves to me the best things in life are free. If you're ever in doubt about it, hold your breath for as long as you can. Go ahead and try it right now while I'm talking. Then inhale and exhale the oxygen that Mother Nature gives us on the house. Like you think you could own the land. If Mother Nature didn't give you air, you couldn't own anything, dum-dum. The best things in life are available to those who take time to observe and enjoy them. Yosane Indior is a Sinhalese vocalist, songwriter, and a politician. Something I am seeking never to be. Wow, this is long. If you don't want any more of this encouragement, just like I said, just turn it off. I feel impelled. I feel encouraged to continue to provide you with more encouragement about the best things in life for free. Don't worry, I won't get into all this. There's not even time for that. I'm just going to try to get through this article. Yeah. This helps me. Yeah. Being goofy. Angela Bajek. I need a drink. Okay, she says, Coco Chanel was right. The best things in life are free because human interaction is the basis of happiness. The feeling that you, in union with other humans, are taking part in actions that benefits the world and humanity in one way or another. So it's human interaction. It's not just two-dimensional interaction. It's not very poor interaction. I mean, literature is good. It's good to read the literature of the Bible. Or it might be good to read the literature of Shakespeare or something like that. But you're only going to get a very small amount of understanding of God if you read the Bible, or Shakespeare if you read his literature, because you can put any tone, any inflection, anything you want in there. You can interpret however you want. The Bible is evidence of that. There's all tons of segregations and different kind of churches that are arguing over the same book that they're reading. But if you knew the author of the book, then you could just sit down and ask them what they were trying to say. And if you knew Shakespeare, that'd be awesome to talk to him. I'd love to talk to him and say, what the hell you mean by all this cryptic things that you're saying there, Shakespeare? And then he'd tell me what he meant. He'd be able to explain it to me with his voice, because I can't understand the written form of communication. And that's why I'm not really loving English. And like I said, I tried to learn Chinese, but at least I found a tutor in Philippines is going to teach me some amazing things. And I'm getting my first script page today. She already sent it. I was going to post that. But she called me to see if I was ready to start tutoring at 8:30 in the morning. And I didn't go to bed until 3 in the morning because I usually sleep between 2 a.m. and 10 a.m. And so I'm like, God, please don't wake me up. We have a 15-hour time difference. We're going to have to figure this out, So I'm going to start learning the scripts, and then I'm going to start, talking. Like when I went to Taiwan, I was in the little Shilin night market, and I had my little dictionary, and I'd say, sta da la, or whatever. Hey, shay means thank you, but that's about all I knew, or something like that. And I'd say this, and they would laugh, ha, 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 ha. Because if you're going to learn how to speak a language, you need somebody to speak that language to teach you. The best way to do it is immersion teaching, but that's another subject. Squirrel. She also says, the ideological structure placed on merchandise suggests that the more of it we acquire, the happier we will be. But anyone who has experienced the limited and short-lived gratification of purchasing a coveted item knows that is simply not the case. The fact, the more things we have, the less we are able to even feel that instant satisfaction. Oh, I already read that earlier. I must have scrolled to the top. Sorry. We must be almost done. Let's hear what Yao Chen has to say. Yao Chen is... That's why I need to learn how to speak Chinese so I can say her name right. Yao Chen. Yao Chen is a Chinese actress and activist. Who said, oh, come on. Sorry, technical difficulties. The best things in life really are free. They are indispensable and always with us, like the air, the sunlight, and the water. We pay them little attention. Pay attention to what's free instead of paying attention to what costs. There's so many more things that are free than cost money, like the air, and the sunlight, and the ocean, and the mountains, and go hiking and walking and enjoy your life. They're indispensable and always with us, like air, sunlight, and water. We pay little attention to them, taking them for granted. Only when you're about to lose something, when your eyesight goes dim, your health begins to fade, or the natural resources you rely on grow scarce or polluted, do you start to realize how precious that was. In other words, there's a saying where your attention goes, your energy flows, or what you pay attention to is going to be how are you spending your life. If you're paying attention to spending your life to trying to get rich, then you're just probably wasting your life because you can't take a hearse with a U-Haul to heaven, and that's what they said, and it's a universal principle. So why don't you just get busy living your life and enjoy breathing the air and the sunshine and going hiking and not worry about how much you have, because it doesn't matter how much you have, because you could have it all and you still ain't going to be happy unless you decide to be happy and start paying attention to what you need to be paying attention to, which is the light and the love and the air and the people in your life. The second most priceless thing, I think, is my acting career. Back to your vocation. Do what you love and love what you do, which can't be measured in dollars. It was simply destiny. Many young people who are just starting out say they are willing to do anything to attain success, but I wouldn't have been entitled to achieve my dreams if I had pursued my art at the cost of my health, for example, or if I had been willing to cast any of the other best things aside. Often luck is a big factor, and if so, don't reach such a goal. If you don't reach that goal, it doesn't reflect on you. In other words, she said, hey, young people especially, she said, this is kind of annoying. I need a better way to do this. That's not what she said. She said, I wouldn't have been entitled to achieve my dreams if I had pursued my art at the cost of my health. In other words, you can't work yourself to death trying to succeed. You can't. It's like at a teaching seminar, the guy that started UPS said, I've learned how to be successful. You want to know how to do it? I just work half days. And they said, half days? And he's like, yep, just 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. Well, yippee-ki-yay, you got U-Haul and you got rich. And then I think the history of that is his kids wanted it all, so they took it away from him and it broke his family relationship. Well, that's really the way to get real successful there. Mr. U-Haul, work 12 hours a day for 7 days a week until you got so much stuff that your family comes and takes it away from you and throws you out on the street like a bum. Yippee, that's a real good advice from a rich person there. Finally, it is wonderful when what dreams come through, in which I'm so grateful. Gratitude. So having said all that, maybe I'll get into voice. There's so much good stuff on voice. The main thing about it is don't lose your voice. Remember the First Amendment. Remember to live. Remember the best things in life are free. Remember your voice is one of the greatest things you have. Remember to use your voice to love people. Please speak kind words and don't be a dick with your voice. Don't be a condescending, puffed up, looking down on other people, insulting other people, flinging out insults at people, cursing at people. No, 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 no. That's my new single for wrong. It's like on The Price is Right or Family Feud or whatever it is. No. Love is the universal religion, and that's why I'm telling you these things, and that's why I say I love you. And if you like anything I'm saying, please subscribe to my YouTube channel because I'm trying to build a platform over there. Bye-bye.